So this is something I've been thinking about for a while, and um, when you think about the lacrosse goalie position, and there's two ways to look at the lacrosse goalie position. One, you you look at it like you are primarily stopping everything with your stick. Now, when I say that, a lot of you are like, well, that's not totally true, and I get it. So, but for everybody listening, what you're going to do with that question is like, so if you believe that a goalie is trying to stop most of the balls with their stick, you're going to give that a percentage out of 100, right? So what is it for you? Is it 10 out of 100? Is it 90 out of 100? Like wherever it is for you, there's going to be a percentage. Okay. Now, granted, that changes based on where the ball is shot on the cage, but overall, you're going to get a percentage. So I guarantee you that whatever number you came up with, it's probably more than 50%. Right. So let's say it was like 60-40. You believe that, hey, a goalie's going to make more ball stops with their stick versus their body. All right. So it's more than 50%. So if you believe it's more than 50% and you're going to hedge your bets, wouldn't you put that stick head in a position that made it more accessible to more parts of the cage at any point in time? Right? Right? You got to think about that a little bit, right? Um, um, yeah, Joe Rose. Yeah, he uses his chest if he gets shot at it. Don't get me started. Grr. Um, I'm joking with you. I say that with a little bit of love, but don't get me started. So, but here's the deal: if you believe that you're going to stop more balls with your stick than you are with anything else, why wouldn't you put that stick head more centrally located in the cage? Based on, it's going to vary slightly based on certain situations, right? But when you break this down, you start going like, all right, if I look at, so the first thing to look at is you look at like baseball catchers, right? And I've talked about this before, but if you look at a baseball catcher, even when they know where the pitch is going, so at the professional ranks, right? Like that's the most accurate pitchers we're probably going to find. That catcher is, what they'll do is they'll put their glove primarily, right? They don't want to be giving anything away, right, to the batter thing. I get that, but primarily, that goalie is going to have his glove centrally located, and then we'll move out from there. Okay, so that's one example. The other example I like to look at is tennis. When a player is at the net, right? So when a player is at the net, what they've basically done is they've shortened the court. They're attacking the player who's about to hit the ball back, and so even when those players are like in a doubles match where you've got players like pretty tight to the net, where do they stand with their racket? They don't stand with it, out to the side and then move across. That racket's centrally located. So that was another example. Then you start to look at like ping pong. You start to look at other racket sports where you have someone who's got to be very reactive to that ball coming their way. So what I want you to give some thought to is this idea, like when we put a lacrosse goalie in the cage and we have them stand with their top hand somewhere outside of middle, we're basically saying, okay, for every inch you go that way is an extra inch you got to go the other way. So especially for Ben Stone, I think, Ben, you brought it up, was with the girls, when that top hand is kind of out toward the right, they have a hard time getting it off stick high, right? And if you think about this, like off stick high is probably the greatest. It's one of the most difficult shots to stop, even if you're like, especially if your goal is short. Even if your goal is tall, there's a hard shot to stop. But then why wouldn't I want that hand to be in a stronger position with which to move into that area? Okay, so I don't have all the answers on this, and a lot of the work that I do with you guys and even even when I get like a college goalie in Lacrosse Goalie University and I'm working with them, I know that I'm fighting conventional, like cultural wisdom, the lacrosse goalie position that's eons old, and I'm going like, all right, we've got to ask a better question on how to make some of these saves. So if I tell my goalie, I want you to stand with your stick head really high over up to your top right, well now, how many of you have seen goalies still get lit up there, right? And one thing to notice is if you ever seen a goalie give up a goal where that ball was like an inch or two off of their stick and it looked like they didn't move or they moved incorrectly. Um, uh, the thing that you got to consider is do they is the goalie assuming they have to move? And an interesting thing to ask your goalies is like, have they ever made a save where they didn't move? Right, and the ball went right into their stick, and they just saw it. They saw it. It's one of the most awkward moves to not make. Is like as if you're in position and you're standing there, and the ball gets shot at a goalie, and you don't have to move an ounce because it was basically a missed shot. This is this is something to give some thought to. It's really difficult. Andy, I see your post. No, lower. And so I can't get into photos right now. I just don't have it set up to pull that up. But what Andy just sent to me was Megan Taylor. Or it was a shot of Megan Taylor. It's centrally located in the middle of close to the middle of the net vertically, like right half, left half. But I'm talking about bringing that top hand in like almost central to the chest, right? Without blocking the view of the goalie. So we just have to, when you think about goalies making saves, okay, the first thing you have to think of is the surface area that the goalie is taking up in front of the net. Okay. Um, uh, so you got to understand that's the first thing is you got to think of the surface area that the goalie takes up in front of the cage. So that's going to modify your stance. That's why I can't stand when I see goalies like let's say I'm a righty goalie and the ball is side right and you see a goalie standing with their stick head outside the post. Doesn't make any sense to me. Right. And I saw goalies getting lit up during the national championship or during the tournament on stuff like that. It just drives me nuts. So you got to think of that first. What surface area does my goalie take up in the cage? And we have to modify the stance in certain situations where it makes sense. That goalie may have to stand almost a little taller, or they might have to stand shorter. They might have to bring that hand in or out, whatever. But you got to think of that. The second thing you got to think of though is my stick the primary saving tool in this scenario, right? Taking into consideration angle of shot and then the shooter at the cage, right? And then the third thing you got to give thought to is the strength and mobility of your goalie. What can they get to? What can't they get to? What is a strong position versus a weak position? And if I'm asking my goalie to move from that weaker position, does that make sense? And I think when you start to break it down, you realize it doesn't, right? So, Andy Levinson, I'm thinking of the Tim Troutner video I did ages ago, or the Jack and Cannon video, if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. This might be this one. I'm not sure. I'm trying to pull this up while I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, this is the one. Here. Hang on, guys. I'm going to pull this up for you. Save it. Pull up the YouTube clip. Oops. Hang on, guys. I'm going to try to do this. And we will do it here. And I'll add a source. Hang on, guys. I'm going to show this to you in a second here. V. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Can you guys see me? Yeah, you can see me. All right. right here. All right. So what you see in this video is that even though Concannon, and this is where people get the wide stance argument wrong, because I've heard people say like, oh, if I have my feet wide and my knees out, it gets my butt lower to the ground. Okay, well, you can't. So that's the surface area in front of the cage. That's the center. Okay, I'm going to say this primarily with my stick, and then am I in a powerful position? That's where a lot of goalies miss this. But what's happening in this case though is that Concannon has come to the middle of the net, right? He's come to the middle of the net, and the stick head, if you'll notice this, is actually also more centrally located. So this shooter, this is Amit, has plenty of time, and where I've paused this, I'm not totally set up here to get this video perfect. But can I widen it? There we go. But from this position, that stick head is centrally located, right? And so he can go up, he can go off stick high, although he would have a lot of trouble going like if that shot was like right in the top corner. But again, percentages, right? Like what are we going for here? And as I play this through, right? So you see that stick comes in, and then from there it goes out, right? And this is the Eclipse 2 that I think that bends right there. But because he adopts a wide stance with his knees in the middle or inside his ankles, he's able to get down like this butterfly stance. And that stick head is centrally located. So you're basically adding two things together. You're adding, all right, my goalie has just dropped and gotten his leg there first. And then he's also gotten the stick here. So the primary thing is like, what's the closest thing to that space the ball is going to? And then I'm getting my stick head there. Right. So does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Yeah, Jonathan, I love it. Okay. Thank you. I know sometimes I don't pull up visuals for you guys, and I apologize for that, but I spend it's a lot of time prepping for that. So I'm glad I can pull this up live for you guys. Ben Stone, I'm with you on this. I just wonder how the shaft length affects the left hand position for a righty. I will try it out later. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Because fundamentally your hands, my recommendation for hand width is basically the width of your goalie's hips. So if you take this shaft and put it like across their belt buckle, and you have their top hand on the throat, you put the bottom hand like a width, basically the width of the goalie. That's usually fundamentally the width that I like to see your goalie holding the stick. Okay, Sid Karma, no worries, man. Thank you, love it. Okay, so I want you to think about this a little bit because the lacrosse goalie position, and what I try to do every week with you guys is to think about this a little bit and think, how do we make a lacrosse goalie more efficient? Because I'll be honest, I was really disappointed that the goalies in the national championship final, I don't care where the shots come from, guys. Less than sub 40% for the boys. Like, come on. Like it drives me nuts. And there's coaches out there who are like, will just go along. Oh yeah. You know what? You need Hiko sticks. You need to juggle. No. You need to fundamentally rethink how you play this position. Right. And that's what I try to do every week. Jake C302 on Instagram. What's the best string on a goalie stick? That's a odd question, but go check out Mr. Wonderful on Instagram. All right. Go check out his sticks and you'll see he's stringing up sticks for the best goalies in the sport. And they've all got shooting strings. I would say that for start, but check that out. Okay. All right. So did that help everybody? If anybody needs if anybody needs a little bit more, everybody go deeper, or got a question on that, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But this idea of the more centrally, and what this violates, full disclosure, what this violates is my rule about redundancy. Like if I've got a piece of equipment covering over another piece of equipment, this violates that a little bit, right? But it's like here, if I play this, so Concannon, if you can see that, Concannon is that stick head is perfectly placed just outside the helmet, right, and above the shoulder. So that's maximizing his surface area as in terms of his bodily everything except that the stick position is too vertical. If we have that butt end pointing to the heel, now that brings that left elbow in more into that space. Right, it brings my left hand, my bottom hand, into a space where I can get into that off stick area to make a save. Right, that's the only thing that I don't like about his stance here. But I'm actually talking about bringing that top hand in front of the shoulder joint, right, and almost like just more in front of, almost in front of the chest a little bit. That then brings that stick head more centrally located. And that's probably one of your most powerful positions to be at, if you think about it, right? So for him and his size, his strength, he's fine there. But for most athletes, they're going to be stronger with that top hand more closer to the midline. Okay. Oh, right on. Is that Michael Strakes? I see you. Hey. Yep. Oh, nice. Michael Strakes with Christina out at the Naval Academy Clinic. Good to see you. All right. Ben Stone. Yes, this and the no stick drill is what we are here for. Fabulous. Love it. Thank you. Okay, so Jason Edwards writes, what I'm seeing is his head is perfectly centered, even more than the head of the stick. Yeah, good observation, Jason. So in this position for him, okay, this is where that wide foot stance allows him to, it's like tentacles, right? Not testicles, tentacles. All right. So, however, the one spot on, and so yes, his head is centered in the cage, but we've also got to be mindful of, the our stick head, right? So if I'm primarily making saves with my stick, okay, and again, that was a question I asked earlier, so don't. So the idea is we need our stick head more centrally located to basically angles where that stick, where the ball is being released. All right. So let's say Amit didn't shoot this like underarm, like, from like 5 o'clock, and he shot it straight over the top. Well, now I've got to be mindful of that angle. Well, the mistake most goalies make is they square up on the body of the shooter. You've got to be squared up on the stick where that ball is going to be released. And then I would argue being offset. I call this offset goaltending. I want you offset to the off stick side, the goalie's off stick side, to where the ball is. So that's the angle that we got to be prepared for. And even in the D1 final, I saw goalies not lined up like that, and that's just a professionalism thing, man. Like, we got to be on it. So teach your goalies. So Shell B94, glad to hear you also teach to hold the stick on an angle too. So many camps teach my goalkeepers up and down, and it makes me so mad. Yeah, Shell, don't send them. Don't send them there. Like, I deal with the goalies that I see in Lacrosse Goalie University that come and they pay me for audits. I can't tell you how many of them go to those really expensive, those posh camps and get ruined. And there's good coaches out there like you, all right, that understand just fundamentals. All right, so think of this. Okay. Oh my God, here's a good one. TJT, what's this? Something Killer 224 on YouTube writes, I actually did the math on how high the stick should be relative to the goal based off the ratios of the distance of a shot, high to high and high to low. Ooh, interesting. I would love to talk to you more, and because I've always been trying to find somebody who could help with this math, but I'd love to talk to you. Email me, coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com, and that would be awesome. And yes, Ben, you, sorry about my name, old account, no worries. Ben, yeah, you learned this from me, right? I like using strings to the post from the shooting stick to help with positioning. Yeah, it's right here. All right, carabiners and 5x32 inch strings to teach angles. All right, so, but I want you guys to give some thought to this more centrally located stick position based on where the ball is being released. All right, and because your stance has to morph. Your stance has to morph based on where that ball is coming from. This is why when we talk about like I hand ball, it's ball, right? It's not. I'm just looking out into space and I'm going to keep this position. If a shooter's like 5 feet off the inside of the crease and she's shooting like low to high, that hand has to change, right? That hand has to come down. I know my cameras here right now are a little bit above me, so it's kind of hard to notice this, but I'm not going to be lined up on you. I'm going to be lined down on the ball. So you got to think about those things. Okay. So I want you to understand that your goal, like we've got to realize the surface area goalie takes up in front of the cage. Okay. Where's that stick position? What's the most available thing they're going to be able to get to the ball? Oh, and to finish, Jason, to finish off my thought, sorry, I didn't finish off my thought to this. The place this goalie is the most vulnerable is, and do I have my white, I don't know my white, I don't know where is it? Hang on, my settings, wait, no, where is it? I'm trying to get my whiteboard up. Plugins, settings, no, layout, record. Oh, wait, no, it's down here. Add source, whiteboard. Hang on. Oh, look at me go. All right. It's here. Can you, it's not thick enough or thick. Yellow. We'll do green just for fun. It's right here. Right? This is the most vulnerable position for this goalie. Okay. Why? He's not in a strong enough position. He's not in a strong enough position to step to this properly. All right. He could probably get his knee, a little bit of extension from his knee into this space, right? And maybe take it off his kneecap. But this is an example of where even he at this level isn't going to want to do that because it hurts. And literally your kneecap can get blown off your leg. And this is where your goalies that are underprotected are never going to learn how to make this save. Why? Because they're afraid of the ball. Okay. If he were to come out towards the shooter, because he's right on the post and he's as deep in the cage as you could possibly go here. Okay. If he comes further out, he gets those feet close together. And he's in a more powerful position to move laterally. It actually gives him more presence in the cage. And then it allows him to get this side of his body. All right. If we get that elbow out like this, all right, and that glove is here and that stick head is on an angle. Now he can get the elbow possibly into that space, but this is where he's most vulnerable. Okay. And then the other place he's most vulnerable is way up here. All right. So, and then again, if our stick head is gonna, if we're looking at at the places where we need to make saves, like, all right, basically this, I'm going to change the color of my highlighter here, just so you guys can understand here. All right, I'll go red. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. Shell B 94. I'm on Facebook and on YouTube. And in our group, Creating Lacrosse Goalie of the Future on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, come join Creating Lacrosse Goalie of the Future. Okay. All right. So I wasn't going to get into this now, but what the hell? For our men's and women's goalies, this is all the same. In this particular shot, we're dissecting this shot, but you can apply this to anything. What shots, where does the ball have to go? Or where will the ball, the places that I have to save with my stick, okay, are basically, I'm going to go from about here up, and then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go like here. All right. Now I can use my head to make saves, but just for now, I'm going to do this. All right. So all of those, hey, Frank Segreto, all of this area that I just highlighted in red, and sorry on Instagram, I know you can't see this, but I'm on. You'll see it on YouTube and in the group. Okay. All the spot that's in red is I can only save this with my stick, right? I can save a little bit above my head. I can get my head there. I can get my head to the side, right? I can make so that's a valid tool to make a save with, by the way. All the moms just cringed because I'm probably promoting concussion, but that's okay. All right. So, but when you think like, okay, I've got to use my stick to make all that to make saves. That's going to dictate where you place your stick, right? So why would I want my stick? Just a question, right? Just a question. Why do I want my stick? What color should I use? Why do I want my stick way over here? So now, basically, what you're doing in this case is you're making a bet. You're like, odds are this ball is going to go somewhere not there. Okay. So because every inch I take my stick head for Kincannon here, every time he takes his stick further out to his right side is an extra inch to get over to this side. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my cursor? You can't see my cursor. Right. There you go. Okay. Now, anything low, okay, if anything 5-hole, the idea is I've got to get there with my legs, right? My legs are closer to that space. This is where you don't see a hockey goalie take their catching glove and go 5-hole. What do? They butterfly and they get their knees down. That's what we need to be doing as lacrosse goalies on a more consistent basis. So it's why I tell my goalies, and a lot of you guys are really, I've been preaching about baseball shin guards for goalies for years, but yeah, people are like, no, well, what about those really nice STX ones that are white that have the little things that when it's hot out, they're nice and cool. Like, what about those? Can I do those? Or what about football pants? Can I do football pants? Like, I don't want anything on my knee though. My knee that makes me slow. No, here's the deal. If you're going to make this save at the 5-hole, the first thing that goes there needs to be your knees. All right. I've stopped sugarcoating this one. Like a baseball catcher would do that. A hockey goalie would do that. That's on a time room shot like this. That's the first choice. No questions. Okay. So my question for you is, are you training it? I mean, like really training it. Like you took 20 shots on your goalie and said, we're going to work on butterflies today. Oh, your hip sockets are tight? We got to stretch that. Right? So, hey, Ashby Shepherd. What's up, buddy? Arrowhead Lax, I see you guys. Okay. Joe Rose, I can't run when my knees are restricted. Yeah, tell that to any professional catcher. Right? So okay. Now, stick to a shot to our off stick hip. Right? Off stick hip. What's the closest thing to that position? That area? It's your elbow. Right? It's your elbow. So, and then it's your bottom hand. So how many of you are practicing putting your elbow in front of that shot to get really good at making that save? Because what your goalie has to do at every point in time is your goalie is making these micro calculations in their brain. And they're saying, okay, this shot from this speed, from this distance, from that shooter, from like what? Okay, that, you look like Terminator, man, with the computer eyes, right? When you saw the video from the Terminator's face out like towards the world, it's like a heads up display, man, on a fighter jet. Your goalie's doing all that, and then your goalie's going like dee, ball going off stick, elbow, and Ashby Shepherd goes, boom, elbow, smack, done. But wait, no, Ashby doesn't have any elbow pads on. Right? It's on his lateral epicondyle. So he makes the save. But now he can't feel his hand. Right? Ashby, I love it. I love you, buddy. I'm just saying, send my best. It could be Jonathan Adlam. I don't know. Maybe it was Jonathan. All right. But the bottom line is like, okay, what, oh, wait, I got a little bit more time. Now, maybe it's not my elbow, it's my glove. So I'm going to put my glove there. But oh dang, we cheaped out. We bought the cheap gloves. Now my goalie's fractured his metatarsals. His metatarsals? What's in your hand? I can't remember those bones. Okay. So Jason Edwards writes, Moreno had one sort of knee pad. How many girl goalies will be wearing one knee pad to practice this week? Right. There you go. Right. It's usually the off stick knee, sometimes, whatever. Depends on if they flop too much. Okay. Jody Hall. I know only 2 goalies that use elbow pads. Yeah. And listen, my thing on the elbow pads, right? I've said this before, is I'm more concerned with elbow pads on maybe the off stick elbow. Right. Comes in handy when you're running out of the cage and think that. But the idea here is, it is your goalie, because we saw Rode from Virginia, shots the off stick side. There's an attempt there, but there's not, to me, it doesn't look like a refined, this is how we make that save. Okay. And that's what we need to happen, right? That's what we need to happen. Metacarpal. Thank you, Josh McIntyre. Metacarpal. Okay. So, yeah, like when you move in that off stick hip spot, it's the elbow first, then the hand. That stick is, and so this is why that vertical stick position also sucks, because it makes that further and further away, right? So I would have loved to have seen Ament light like Kincannon up off stick hip on this shot. And we would have learned a lot more from it. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So does that help? Any questions? If you like that, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, show me some love, or else I'm talking to the universe. Michael Strakes, shout out to Christina. That was a tough loss. I did talk about goalies trying to play the ball behind the net. That kind of applied, but good half otherwise for her. All right, love that. All right. Joel Rose writes, how do you start for the D1 national champ and feign getting to off-stick shots? Can you retype that? I don't fully get what you mean by that. How do you start for the D1 national champ and feign getting to off-stick? Oh, are you saying like don't get there properly? Like I think of feign like it's on purpose. Sid Karma, thank you, sir. This is why. Okay, this is why I keep saying that we're not seeing the best goalies play at the Division Division 1 level, right? Is that when I see a shot go 5-hole on a goalie, a lacrosse goalie, and they kind of drop all twisted up, or they put like one, you put, like if I'm a righty goalie and I'm kind of weak and that ball's coming like just below the family jewels, right? A hockey goalie drops and takes that one in the cup, right? Now they have pants on, and that pants, it kind of gets hung up in that material, right? But the idea is that goalie's dropping, butterfly down, takes it square in the balls, and then covers up. You can do that in hockey, but we can't do that in lacrosse, but whatever, right? But when I see a goalie kind of twist up, I know that they're not training for that and they're underprotected. And that's why my argument for protection for lacrosse goalies will continue. And also, just to rant a little bit more, when a lacrosse goalie is protected to the level that I think they need to be protected at, they will play. Not only will they make those saves, they'll make more saves to the 5-hole. They'll absorb stuff with their body where they can, because we know, as my graphic shows here, all that red, that shot has to be saved with the stick. Unless field lacrosse goalies start playing like field hockey goalies, which basically stand like this, right? And that's, we could argue that maybe that's, or a boxer doing drill, but that's how field hockey goalies have gone, right? So, but the idea there is like, okay, if there's a ball, like this is where, like I talked a couple weeks ago, if you train without a stick, and your goalie may start to realize, like, wow, I can actually stop balls better than my off stick high, with my hand than I do with my stick. We've all seen that clip on Instagram. Like, there's the ref blows the whistle dead, and the ball comes over to that midi, like side left, Mitty like rips the ball anyway, but the goalie's like walking out of the cage, his stick's down by his side, and he just throws his hand up and just stops the shot. And everybody's like, dang, right? Well, goalie didn't have a stick in his hand. And he stopped that shot from like 6 yards, right? So I want you to understand when you start asking these questions, you start training your goalie and have some fun with it, then these answers start to come true, right? Come out. All right. So, all right. I think I've covered a lot for tonight. I hope that helps. And I hope that you guys all enjoyed that. I'm trying my best to get the clips from this up on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts for those of you guys who can listen in your car and things like that. It's been a bit of a challenge. Frank Segreto, thank you, sir. So it's just a bit of a challenge, and I've been trying to find an assistant that I can hire to help with that. Shell B94, awesome, thank you. Did you answer the 3 questions, Shell B? Hope so. It'll be great to have you in there. Okay. Jason Edwards, thank you. Hi to Alyssa. Benjamin Marquis, quick question here. Best advice for vertically challenged goalies? Yes. Benjamin, how old are you, buddy? And I had a question I didn't answer here from somebody further before. Benjamin, how old are you? Jonathan Redford, yeah, I saw your switching hands will keep it centered. I see that comment. Yes. Ben Stone, it was great to join in person. Yeah, thank you. All the way from Australia. All right, love that. Love that. We are international. Jason Edwards, yes, I need an intern. Benjamin, you're 26, dude. All right, listen. Keep your normal stance. Know that you're gonna have net above you. But how tall are you, Benjamin? By the way, all right, like are you like 5'2" or 5'6"? Because if you're 5'6", you're all good. Men's league lack checking in. I love it. It's all right. We'll coach everybody. All right, we're changing the game one goalie at a time, man. It's all good. So listen, Benjamin, just know you can actually use it to your advantage. So a lot of the girls that I coach, like a lot of the girls that I've had in Lacrosse Goalie University, they're all small. Like, probably one of the best examples of a good goalie who's small is Megan Taylor, who was like, I don't know, 4'6". I don't know how tall she was. Yeah. So yeah, Shell B writes, I'm 5'2" and I had 62%. If I could do it, he can too. Yeah, Benjamin, you're 5'7", man. I was 5'7.25" in high school, right? So you can do it. All right. So it's not that big of a deal. It's actually can be an advantage because you have net up there. You're going to be giving that up. Like this clip that I have on screen right now. I mean, Kincannon is like what, 6'2", and in his stance, like he's shorter than you'd be playing. All right. So it's possible. All right. So I wouldn't hesitate on that too much. Okay. So that's a great question. Okay. I'm scrolling back here. TJ the Killer 24. Yeah. Send me an email, man. That'd be awesome. All right. Sorry. I'm just scrolling back. Okay. This is a good one for anybody who's got a goalie who's gone through an injury. Okay. Ride Dog 345 here on YouTube writes, I was wondering if you have a good routine for getting back into the position after being out for a knee injury, specifically a stress fracture in your tibia. Ride Dog, that's a good one. So stress fractures was in the, I don't know if you're still on, Ride Dog, it's been a while. Growth plate or not? Was it from getting hit with a ball? Doubt it. Ryan, okay. Okay, Ryan, I got you. Okay, here we go. So Ryan, so one, if that stress fracture is in your growth plates, like at the top of the tibia, you want to make sure, first of all, you got to talk to a doctor, right? I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So here we go. One, I would pad that up. Okay. So I would get, when you have a stress fracture like that, you want to make sure that you are protected around that area. Okay. So you're going to want a shin guard. You're going to want, I had a goalie years ago who actually took a football thigh pad and had it formed, and that was super thick, right? And then what she does is you donut out a little bit of the inside that goes against your skin. So that's the key when you got some of these bruises. It was from running inside the bone. Okay, so stress fractures, for that, it's less about the impact of getting shot on. So the protection thing is a bit of a it doesn't really apply here, but you got to rest it up, right? That's the biggest thing about stress fractures is you got to rest them up. And after about 2 weeks, though, bone heals pretty strong, right? The thing about a stress fracture, right, is they X-ray you, you can't see it, right, on that initial X-ray, but after it heals, they see it. So your doctor, your physio probably was just saying like, hey, you most likely have a stress fracture because that's the type of pain you were having, right? So, but after a couple of weeks, it should be healed up better than new. Okay, one, if you're a goalie, stop running, right? Run on soft surfaces. You're going to do it, and I'm going to encourage you to do this. Don't be running long distances, but sprint. If you like to run, which we do. Like I remember when I was a young kid and I liked to run. I liked that. So run hills instead. Okay. Run hills instead, and you'll have much better. You're going to get a lot of the same physiologic response that you're looking forward to. Heck, you may even be addicted to it. But you're going to get your hips stronger, and that's going to make you a better goalie. Right. Whenever I have a goalie come to me, I'll ask them like, what other sports do you play? If they tell me they run cross country, I usually tell them to stop like right now. Right. Cause it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a runner or do you want to be a lacrosse goalie? Right. I'm sure after this, you're going on some running, Facebook Live, but you just have to make that decision. But if you like to run, then run hills. Okay. And that actually takes a lot of the stress off, a lot of that impact gone, right? Which is great because you're just the impact point is completely different. Okay, running is a very, very stress inducing on the body. All right, so don't overstress yourself. Okay, don't overstress yourself. And like I said, like if I'm going to fight for you to be a better lacrosse goalie, stop running. All right, stop running. Okay, so keep that in mind. I hope that helps. All right, does that help? Let me know. All right. Now I can't remember where it was. Okay, there we go. All right. So everybody who's watched, it's 7:30. I'm out. It's lacrosse and golf for me, if that helps. Cool. Yeah, even run hills, man. That your golf game will get better too. Okay. All right. Good luck with that. That's those suck. And get a friendlier avatar there, man. You got like a skull head. That's kind of scary, dude. You got lots of ages on this thing. I don't want to scare the public. All right, guys. Matt Ludlow, I see you. Evan Roach, I see you. Evan, I'm not letting you in. My bad. It's all good. All right, to everybody who joined me on Instagram tonight, thank you. Everybody's on Facebook Live. Do me a quick favor before you leave. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it. And listen, when you're ready, man, I want to coach your goalie. Come join Lacrosse Goalie University. And now is the time. If you've got a busy summer ahead of you, now is the best time that I can help you. All right. I can help you anytime. But man, if you're serious about your goalie, let's get you going. And I want to encourage you to become a master's member. I'm even thinking about wiping out my mid-range and just going no, I want to work with goalies one-on-one. I want to be on the phone with you. I want to be on Zoom calls every week. And I want to make this the best summer ever for you. So let's get going. All right. Stop messing around. All right, guys, have a great week. Talk to you soon. Cheers. Bye. All right, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.